here, Dallas getting cornerback Kyer Elam and a 2025 6th-round pick. Buffalo getting a 2025 5th-round pick and 26th 7th-round pick as they trade Kyer Elam away. Adam making his way back to the desk right now. Buffalo getting Joey Bosa, of course. We talked about that just a little bit and making sure that that would be the case. So you see Joey Bosa will join this Bills team, and the Bills are fortifying their defense, of course, which we've seen them be able to do some nice moves here. They, of course, signed Josh Allen to a massive extension. And now they're making some other moves that will make this team a little bit better. As we welcome you to our show, NFL Live with you until 5 p.m. Adam, you have more news. What's going on?
Russell Wilson.
Let's start with some breaking news on Aaron Rodgers. Actually, Adam Schefter may not be in the building
Hi,
right now.
I am Adam Schefter, and breaking news, Aaron Rodgers has now been released.
They released Aaron Rodgers, and that's what the Jets are doing. Of course, Adam has reported that Rodgers is an option for the Steelers. We'll see how the Giants factor into all of that. And another player we're keeping an eye on who is still out there, Cooper Kupp, the Rams releasing him after 8 seasons. Of course, he had 2 years, $39.8 million remaining on his contract. Adam is working on news right now. We'll bring that to you as soon as we figure out exactly what it is. Nothing more compelling than Adam and his phone right this second as the new league year officially begins. On with that later on in the show. You don't want to miss it. But let's talk a little bit more about Cooper Kupp and the wide receiver market. Of course, officially released by the Rams now. And he's been one of the best slot receivers in the NFL in the last 4 seasons. He's top 5 in receiving touchdowns, receiving yards, receptions, and targets. Dan, who should be on the phone for Kupp now?
Yeah, number one, the Chicago Bears. This is a situation, beautiful offensive line. You know, the additions of Rome Odunze last year, DJ Moore, really bad performance on 3rd down last year. If I were the Los Angeles Chargers, I would be calling to try to pair with Ladd McConkey. If I were the Seattle Seahawks, I would try to make sure that I just paid Sam Darnold all that money. I really only have JSN. I think a sneaky team like the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Tennessee Titans, if you're Tennessee and you plan on taking Cam Ward at number 1, you really only have Calvin Ridley right now. They need to add a second wide receiver, and for a young quarterback, that'd be great. There's going to be multiple teams. I think those are 5 or 6 right there.
I have questions for both of you guys. With Cooper Kupp being mainly and mostly productive in the slot, if you're the Seattle Seahawks, are you looking at Jackson Smith and Jigba and starting to wonder to yourself, okay, are we taking one of our best players out of what he does extremely well? And so I think some of the lack of position versatility for Cooper Kupp in the places that he can find success are kind of hindering teams from making that move on him, because if you have a guy who's good at that spot, like think about the Chargers, you have Ladd McConkey already. He's great in the slot. Are you going to try to move him outside, or do you think Cooper Kupp could be good enough outside to bring on your team? So I think when you talk about the Tennessee Titans and teams a little lower down, some of the ones you mentioned,
that's right. That's where Bears, Pittsburgh make
exactly. That's where
schematic sense.
Exactly. That's where Cooper fits in. And you think he now goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers to play the slot with George Pickens and DK Metcalf on the outside? That's a spot to excel.
So as you see the tweet there from the Rams, thank you for everything, Cooper. Certainly a huge part of that Rams organization for a long time. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think, look, if I'm Cooper, I understand what you're saying as far as like where he fits. Like you always try to construct the wide receiver room like a basketball team. You don't want guys, you don't want position redundancy. You don't want a bunch of slot guys. You don't want a bunch of outside guys. But if I'm Cooper, I'm going to go somewhere where, 1, they're trying to win, right? They can win right now. And 2, I'm with a darn good quarterback. There's nothing but uncertainty in Pittsburgh right now. And if I'm thinking, hey, look, what's an easy move for me? I can stay on the West Coast. I can just switch locker rooms in L.A. Ladd is a great slot player. Ladd also has a lot of juice that he can move outside. And you can mix and match those two. Plus, they have some other big guys on the outside there, too. I think that would be a good spot for him. And catching balls from Justin Herbert, not bad.
You have to have some of that creativity we saw in Los Angeles, the 100%. Way they utilized Puka and Cooper.
Dan brought up that he's only ever had Matthew Stafford as his quarterback, so that's standard for quarterback play pretty high.
Absolutely.
All right, we do have breaking news right here from Adam Schefter. His news is flying in with free agency officially beginning. Go ahead, Adam.
All right, Lord, Javon Hargrave, the former 49ers defensive tackle, has reached agreement with the Minnesota Vikings on a 2-year, $30 million deal, including $19 million guaranteed. And that was not the only former 49ers defensive lineman just released that has a new deal. We have Malik Collins going to the Cleveland Browns. We also have Evan Ingram, the free agent tight end, going to the Denver Broncos on a 2-year deal. The 2-time Pro Bowl tight end winds up in Denver. The Broncos have been looking for a tight end for quite some time. They finally find one in Evan Ingram.
Yeah, so we kind of thought this might happen, Dan, because he was visiting there, but I think this is a great addition in that offense for Bo Nix.
2 years ago, Evan Ingram had 114 catches. 3 years ago, he averaged 10 yards a catch. So, Sean Payton, notorious, wants to joke he could move around to gather information for, to create matchups for. If Evan Ingram can be kind of what he was in 23 and 22, now Bo Nix has just another person that they can break the huddle, gather information, and create matchups for other guys.
I mean, listen, this guy was a first-round pick for a reason.
Totally.
He adds an explosiveness from the tight end position that is unlike a lot of other guys in this league. And let's be real, Bo Nix played exceedingly well for a rookie last year. He also pushed the football down the field, middle to late season, in a way that I didn't necessarily expect him. Now you have a guy who can win one-on-one mismatch battles. I think this is huge for the young quarterback.
Last thing I'll say about Evan, we've sat with him for games. He's an amazing locker room presence as well for a team that still has some young elements.
Had worked so hard on himself, too, in Jacksonville, and we saw that really play out on the field. All right, the new league year is official. That means these quick reads. Lewis, give us a move on defense you love this week.
Look, Milton Williams, for me, was one of the best, if not the best, free agent available regardless of position. He's going to be 26 years old in April. He's playing a premium position with a head coach in Mike Vrabel, who coached Jeffrey Simmons. Remember how disruptive Jeffrey Simmons was in Tennessee? And they're going to pair him with Harold Landry, and they're just going to absolutely turn him loose. He's going to line up next to Christian Barmore. New England's going to look totally different this year on defense now. Totally different.
I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles keeping Zach Bond. One, he was as good as any inside linebacker in football this year. Two, this is the defense in Philly that ran to the football and created chaos around it better than anyone in the NFL. And you don't do that unless it comes from the top down, but also is led player-wise inside and out. With the loss of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay, the veteran leadership, not only the talent, the veteran leadership that he will sustain in that locker room, enormous.
For me, it was DJ Reed to the Detroit Lions. This is a player I've always loved. And you would think to yourself, okay, why does this undersized DB or cornerback get you excited? Because of sticky man-to-man coverage, physicality on the outside, and understanding the way defense is supposed to be played. This is a team that finished the season with a ton of DBs playing that came from the bench because they lost so many to injury. Now, opposite of Terrion Arnold, you have DJ Reed, a guy who's not only a proven starter, but a big-time player at the position.
Let's get to Kansas City now. Shefty, what did they do today to help clear some cap space?
Kansas City restructured the contracts of Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes, according to Field Yates, to free up a whole bunch of cap space, and with $50 million under the salary cap. The Chiefs have made a number of moves that they now will put into action. You saw them sign Christian Fulton. You saw them sign along the offensive line Jalen Moore. These two players, Mahomes and Jones, restructuring their contracts allows Kansas City some of the flexibility that they will need and want to have during free agency.
Yeah, there are plenty of impact offensive linemen still available in free agency. Cam Robinson, the headliner, he was Matt Bowen's number 10 free agent. Mekhi Becton, Kevin Zeitler, Tevin Jenkins, Josh Myers, they all ranked top 50 free agents, so certainly some that could be added there. Dan, where should the focus be in Kansas City right now in your mind?
Yeah, I still believe offensive line has got to be in play for them. You're dice rolling